Hi everyone, I'm Sourav Karmakar. I'm working at TGH Software Solution as a Boomi developer, and today I'm going to show you how to use API Proxy component in Boomi and how to configure API Proxy component as well how to use API Proxy component in Boomi. Okay. So API Proxy component is a deployable component that allow for the direct proxying of a request through an API gateway to a service that is not served through an Atom molecule or Atom cloud. It must always be the API must be the outsider API, not the Boomi API. And the API proxy component can be built only while the API management feature is enabled in our Boomi account. Yeah, this is the drawback of API proxy component. And there we have three tabs in API proxy component. So first is general tab. So general tab is used to define the general setting of a API proxy component. So there we have a import option. There we can import our specification file, that is API specification. It is open API specification. Yeah, and we have second tab called service tab. There we define the service setting of API proxy component. So inside the service tab, you will get API service URL as well as health check URL, and we need to pass the authentication type in this service tab. Yeah, and if that is a basic authentication, then we need to pass the username and password. And if there is no authentication, then it will be none, and it none will be by default always. So after that, we have a documentation tab. So this documentation tab is not mandatory to configure API proxy component. There we are using some publisher name, publisher email, publisher URL, title of the API, etc. So let's jump to Boomi platform to configure API proxy component. So first we need a API to configure API proxy component. So to find a API, I create a API in Oracle. So first I'm going to show you what is the API. So this is the endpoint URL of the API. What I use here, this is a calculator API. So I'm testing the API in this API Postman here. So here we have three sub query parameter we need to pass. So first the number one, number two, and the operation. So here I'm going to perform the addition operation. So I need to pass add here. So need to send the request. Yeah, it is giving me the response as the addition of these two number. Okay, so now if I give here, I'm going to show you how to use a multiplication operation here. So I'm using the mul. This is the operator, and it is giving me the multiplication of these two number. And we have subtraction function. So I'm going to use sub. It will give me the subtraction of these two number. And if here I'm giving any kind of wrong operator like sub, like I'm typing two type of p, then it is giving me the response like please type invalid. This is the invalid operator. Okay, so now I'm going to proxying this API in our Boomi platform. So we need to use the API open API specification here. This is the open API specification what I'm going to use. So I need to copy that specification URL. So we can use the API URL or the API specification file also, but I'm using the URL only. So now let's quickly create a API proxy component in a folder. So this is a folder, and let's create new component, and I need to create a API proxy. So this is the API proxy component. Yeah, that I need to, and here this is the option import open API specification file. I need to click it here, and here we got two options like import from a file and import from a URL. So we are copying the URL from there. So I need to check this option, and here we need to pass the URL, and that API is uh, protected in basic authentication. So we need to pass the username and password here. So the username is This is the username, and this is the password of this API. You need to hit next, and after that we'll get the specification details. So after that we need to create next, and we need to select this and next. So we will get all the details. We need to hit finish now. So here we get all the details here. So after that, you can see here it is already reflecting that is a REST API. And after that, we need to go to the service tab, and here we need to give the authentication type. So this is a basic authentication, and so we need to pass it the authentication here. So the URL, the basic authentication, the password, username, password, what I gave previously, that only I need to give here again. So, so after that, I need to hit save. And this is the documentation tab. That is not mandatory to create a API proxy component. Uh, so after that, we need to deploy that component. So in order to deploy that component, first we need to package this component. So now quickly create a package component here. We need to choose the environment. In which environment I need to deploy my API proxy. So I need to deploy it here. So you can see this is already deployed, this API proxy component. If we now we need to in order to run this API proxy component or this API, we need to go to our API management tab. So in API management tab, we need to enable our service enablement to use this API management. We need our gateway also. So quickly go to API management. Here in this deployed API tab, you can see our API proxy component. Just quickly search. So here you can see this is the API proxy component what I configured. So we need to choose the plan here first. As you can see this is incompleted. So we need to click here, and we are going to make a keyless plan. So we are choosing this, and quickly search a plan. So you can use any plan here. So I am using this and hit save. Yeah, you can see this is configured. So we need to go to our view tab, race tab. So we can see our base URL path here. Quickly go to the and create a new request. Paste it over there. So in order to run this API proxy, we need to change our go to a atom management, then to change our uh, shared web server. This is intermediate, but we need to change it advanced. Authentication type as gateway. Got changed. So after hitting this API, we are not getting the response because You need to pass some query parameter there. So we need to copy this thing, calculator, paste it here. See, there is it is calling this enter the valid operator because we are not giving any kind of operator here. So what we can do is can go to our previous request and we can copy this thing. So this is the number one, number two, and operator. I'm giving it like add. It is giving me the response as the addition of two numbers. So here I'm using this API proxy component. I'm proxying this API. So what one thing you can see here that this is the base API path, and this is my username of my Boomi. So now I need to change this username also, this base path also. So what we can do is we can go to our API proxy component and we can give the base path here. See, this is automatically reflected. This is the base path. It is automatically reflected here. But suppose we need to change this base path. So what we can do is we can use our base path like this. Also, we can do. So after that, we need to save this process again and again create a package component because we made some changes in this API proxy. We need to deploy again in the same environment. Yeah, it already deployed. So what you can do is you can go here, just quickly refresh this page. So inside this deployed API tab, quickly search my API. So this is the API. So you can see that base path is got changed, and the name what I gave here, there the base path it reflect here. Okay, so by using this we can change the base path. So now we need to copy this. Go to Postman. We need to paste it here. Yeah, and this is the query parameters. These might always be same to run this API. So now I'm performing subtraction. You need to pass sub. This is the subtraction. Okay. So now I need to perform some error operator. Now I need to pass. So I'm using sub. This is giving me please enter a valid operator. So I'm successfully proxying this API, this outsider API, and make this as a Boomi API. Thanks everyone. Thanks to watching the video.